Hello, my name is Claire Labry, and I am a release engineer at HashiCorp. I want you to put your imagination caps on. Imagine a mother sitting in the doctor's office with a baby in her lap. The baby is watching the doctor's movements with unusual intensity while the doctor is performing a hearing test. The baby passes with flying colors, and the doctor says the hearing is just perfect. Well, that baby was me, and that doctor was wrong. I am deaf, and I was born that way. You see, never having had a sense of hearing gave me the gift of being extra sensitive to touch, to movement, and a heightened spatial awareness. I was sitting on my mother's lap. Although she didn't realize it, she was moving ever so slightly in the directions of the doctor and the sound. I would then follow her. My mother was my ears. It was not until I was put to sleep for the auditory brainstem response test that I failed the hearing test with flying colors. Before I get started, this talk focuses on sensory disabilities through a deaf lens. People with disabilities consist of a huge universe, and I'm only scratching the surface. With that, imagine if you had lost some sort of sense. You went to a really loud concert, sat over by the speakers, and for the next few weeks, you were hearing muffled. It's time to go to work, and you have to participate in a meeting. You're lost. You don't understand why the presenter is talking about implementing a new CI/CD pipeline. What is the goal of the implementation? You miss why all of this is important. Then you see your team talking with one another, throwing out ideas and ways to approach this project. You instantly try to engage with them and ask them to repeat themselves. They become frustrated because you're slowing them down. And you realize you are utterly lost. Now ask yourself, what would you do to alleviate the problem? Perhaps you can ask your team to talk one at a time, ask someone to take notes for you. These strategies are called accommodations. My interpreter is an accommodation. She's my ears and my voice. Accommodations are designed to help people with disabilities have the same opportunities as able-bodied persons. Would your workplace provide accommodations if you asked? That's fantastic. That shows your workplace views people with disabilities as equals. It's unfortunate reality, though, that many workplaces do not feel the same way. They're often spooked by the cost that they have to pay in order to provide accommodations for people with disabilities. Now let's shift the landscape a bit. Let's imagine a workplace that invests in hiring people with disabilities and providing accommodations to these employees. Those people who are hired have equal employment opportunities and are likely to keep their jobs, which benefits the company with higher retention rates, benefits performance, and ultimately more profitability. There was a study done a few years ago by Accenture, which found that companies that championed people with disabilities actually outperformed other companies. And this allowed their revenues to increase by 28% higher, and their net income was 200% higher. There were other findings as well. That excerpt shows that isn't to say that hiring people with disabilities is better than hiring able-bodied people. Rather, it shows that providing people with disabilities equal opportunities and access levels that playing field by providing them an opportunity. For me, my American Sign Language interpreter is what makes me successful. They relay information to me in ways that I can understand. As a result, I feel able to focus on my career without worrying about missed information. What can you do to make your workplace more welcoming and more safe to create spaces for people with disability to disclose? Unfortunately, many individuals do not disclose on their job applications, and this is very common because workplaces don't do enough to show applicants that they don't discriminate based on disability. Putting down the legal phrasing is not enough. Be intentional. The job application process must make the person feel safe so that they can apply regardless of disability. If you want to hire individuals with disabilities in your workplace, ask yourself some questions. What can you do to make it more inclusive? Don't stop at interpreters. Including a deaf person in a side conversation, check in on them, provide them equal opportunities for promotion, professional development. These are things that able-bodied people benefit from every day. Why not do it for people with disabilities as well? The tech world is evolving and fast. We need diversity and inclusion to make this tech world better for everyone. Think about babies in their mother's laps and those babies growing up to be software engineers 20 or 30 years later. How can we make this place an accessible and inclusive one so that they don't have to fight for the most basic human needs to be able to be happy and succeed in their life? I challenge everyone watching to go out and create an inclusive workspace and tech world for individuals with disabilities. Thank you.